Hi everyone, Larry Satchwell here. 'Tis the season. I'm down here in the workshop today working on weed vases. I love making these. When I told my wife what I was doing, she said, wow, that goes way back. And it does. Weed vases were one of the first things I made. I loved them. I didn't have any power tools at the time. I would sit in the evenings in a chair and with a big towel in my lap and just carve them. They are so much easier now. I love the juxtaposition of the smooth wood here and the raw wood right here. This is a piece of redwood out of Dana's tree. So I'm going to turn one here on the lathe. It's a lot more dangerous, that's for sure, than working with a pocket knife. I've got it offset here, so it's you've got to really be careful. I've got it on a glue block, and I've got my tailstock brought up, but there's cracks in this wood. This is, you just don't know what's in here. And it's off center, so that's another danger. And so I'm going to stand out of the way. I'm, of course, going to have my face shield on. The best tool I found for this is my Hunter's Hercules. It's really heavy duty, and I can set it up here and take off the corners. And basically, once you do one, they're all the same, just the way you orientate the wood. So I'm going to get started here and get my camera out of the way too, because I don't want it to get broken. I'm going to turn the lathe on here at 1750 and see what that looks like. I know it's going to be off balance, but this is a pretty small piece. Let's see what 2000 looks like. I think I'll start there. The reason I'm starting there is because you're mainly at this point turning air. And actually the faster it goes that you feel safe with when you're turning air, it's a little bit easier. When you're turning here, you can see a ghost or a shadow figure right here, and I knew I was getting pretty close to round. That's about where I want to take this. I'm going to leave this really tall right in here and get this pretty narrow, but I really like where it's going right here. So as soon as this turns to round, I may just stop right there. I've upped the speed a little bit to 2250. So I am round right here. I don't see any cracks, so I'm pretty confident this is going to stay together. So I'm going to go a little bit further here, maybe 1/4 of an inch. I've taken the tail stock back, so I'm going to turn the speed down because the only thing holding on here is about 1.5 inches worth of glue, and I just want to put an indentation here at the end. I normally don't put holes in them this large, but I'm going to on this one. I got a 1/2 inch bit in here. Lathe speed is at 500. So sanding this is really tricky because you can really get your knuckles wrapped on that. So I like to use a little pad like this. I'm going to start here with 100 grit, and the lathe is at 1750, and just stay out of the way of that knuckle buster. that was a fun couple of hours. I've got one out of a cedar fence post. This one I need to do a little more sanding on. Both of these I've put a glass tube in. And so you can put water in these. This one is really tight. Here's I don't want to break it, but a pro tip. This one is so tight, I had to drill a little relief hole down here because the compression wouldn't allow it to go all the way in. I've got some red bud. And this was an interesting one. This is an apple tree that I used to make lots of apple butter. Beaver chopped it down. And in one night, it was huge. It was like, 2 foot across. So I've got one more piece of beaver apple left. I might make something out of that. But it took me back to sitting in my married student housing in DeKalb, Illinois with my wife, whittling on these in the evenings. And I might just go back to that. So you don't need a lathe. You can do all this with a carving knife. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.